Hey everybody, it's me, Asinellus, and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Reddit. Welcome to r/IDon'tWorkHereLady, where we get to see some crazy entitled people who do some crazy things, and just a heads up, one story today involves a broken nose. But guys, I won't waste another second. I've got plenty of great stories planned for you today, so I won't waste another second and we'll get straight into the video. Noses are crunchy. I was working Toys for Tots in the DC area, which is a program the Marine Corps runs every year to gather toys and gifts and distribute them to kids whose Christmas tree would likely disappoint Charlie Brown. Sexist or no, they seem to pick those of us who have the Marine look in the casting sense. Tall and masculine, or on the ladies' side, that particular blend of I'll kick your butt with one hand while doing my eyeliner with the other. It's as much marketing as anything, especially in the DMV. Point being, we're a bunch of tall, very fit yucks out there in dress blues, smiling and coaxing toys out of people who would have probably saved Toys R Us with petty stock earnings. We look nothing like waitstaff. Myself, 6'1" and 210 pounds, and another SNCO, 5'4", probably 135 pounds, were assigned to an event at the Smithsonian. Somehow, the Corps had managed to get a display and a few donation bins put up at a black-tie, invitation-only shindig surrounding the display of the Hope Diamond and a bunch of other large hunks of carbon. Personally, I don't understand the obsession with it. It's a large, shiny rock. No one's wearing it. It serves no scientific purpose, and it just sits there. So you can look at it, or something. I feel more satisfaction looking at an exceptionally big turd the night after Taco Tuesday. At least I made it myself, often with significant effort, and no small amount of regret or self-loathing to provide fuel for the push. Anyway, we're smiling our pearly whites while the various movers and doers shake our hands, with toys on display, posing for the cameras so their constituents and stockholders can see how kind-hearted they are. The sick thing is, how many don't even donate? They just get a photo in front of the pile of toys, sans the generosity. Pretty much par for the course. The initial wave of donations passes as the event gets down to business. Drinks are passed out, and they start in with the hors d'oeuvre. We're standing there surreptitiously munching and trying not to get those god-forsaken white gloves dirty, when this lady, who's best described as a chubby, mixed-race female Steve Buscemi, comes toddling up in a dress/waistcoat thing that looked like it was screaming for mercy from the button fairy. That's Steve, FS. Hey you two, I'm dry here, let's get snappy with a refill. It was something like that. We didn't realize she was talking to us, so I only half paid attention. FS, after a second of us not replying. Hey, I know you hear me. Get your butts in gear. Flirting time is over. At this point, we realize she meant us. I look over at Pocket, my fellow Marine's nickname. We'll call her P. She looks at me, we look at the lady. It took a second, okay? Finally, I speak. Can I help you, Mom? About goddamn time, I need a refill, and while you're at it, get me some of those munchy things. They stopped bringing them out a few minutes ago. You guys really... Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we don't work here. We're just here with the toys. I don't give a good goddamn what you think. Get your butt in gear or I'll have your job. I'll not be talked at by someone like you. FS proceeds to toss her empty-ish glass at P, who gets some leftover drips on her blues but catches it out of reflex. I can see the thunderclouds gathering. A stain like that likely means she's likely looking at a new blues coat, which runs a few $100s. Probably a new ribbon setup too. Pocket is Puerto Rican and has the temper to match, so I try to head the lady off. Ma'am, we're not waitstaff, we're... I don't want to hear your excuses. Do you know who my husband is? FS proceeded to put her finger right under my nose and continue the tirade. Apparently, hubby was a Southern senator's main booster/campaign funder, so said Google, and would see to the fact that I'd be sleeping under newspaper and etc. After about 10 odd seconds of this, we're starting to draw stares and some of the staff were starting to head our way. However much I wanted to put this bee in a compliance hold, I could pretty well visualize the CNN article if a male Marine laid hands on a woman in front of all those people, especially a politically connected one. I was sort of at a loss. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to make that choice. Pocket made it for me. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. Please take your glass and..." She held out FS's glass to her as she said this. FS immediately switches her wrath from me to Pocket and slaps the glass out of Pocket's hands. I could see P's control wavering, but there wasn't anything for it. FS bored right in. The critical mistake was to start jabbing Pocket with her finger, right in the chest with each word. "You shut your mouth." I cringed visibly at the second to last word because yeah, I knew exactly what was about to happen and it did. It's called the udegatame in judo, basically a standing arm lock, and Pocket has a 2-tab black belt. Pocket snatched her arm up, locked her out and slammed her face straight into the wall next to us. Blood, broken nose, drywall dust, the whole bit. P didn't even say anything, just the grim teeth smile that says, "I'ma F you up so hard, your grandkids will be born with handprints on their soul." It was awesome, and a little hot to be honest. I, being both the senior Marine and somewhat cooler of temperament, carefully pulled P back. I dare say it was akin to handling a small but very dangerous animal. FS kind of slides to the floor, actually much quieter now that she's trying to aspirate a mixture of blood and gypsum. Security finally showed up to help, which resulted in them hauling FS away and taking us to a separate room, where we gave our version of things. Security recordings were reviewed, of which there were many because of the fancy rocks everywhere and so on. Pocket wanted to press assault charges, but oddly enough, no DC police became involved. I'm assuming politics at play there. I called the head shed to let them know what happened. They sent a van to pick us and the toys up. Funny enough, it never seemed to make it to the news. I think that more than anything saved Pocket's butt. Upon coming back to the main event area to load the toys and take down the display, we were given a wide berth by many of the upper crusties. I feel compelled to mention the notable exception. This one old lady who came up and asked if she could give Pocket a hug, of all things. Just kind of gave her that grandma-style hug, patted her on the back and took her hands. "You know, in my younger years, I would have stomped that whale flat. Wonderfully done, dear." And then wandered off to rejoin the party. Wow, the jargon at the start was a bit difficult to get through, but it was so worth it with that sort of an ending. Entitled Karen got what she deserved, and there were no consequences for Pocket, which is kind of surprising. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that first story, and if you did, make sure to go down and hit that like button. This is something that really helps my channel get discovered, but don't worry, I'm not gonna waste another second, and we'll keep going with the video. My wholesome magic time machine experience. And this one is quite different to the rest of the stories. Keep watching to find out. If you've never been to Magic Time Machine, a strangely themed restaurant filled to the brim with wacky decor and odd-looking waitstaff, you're missing out. One of the main draws of this restaurant is their waitstaff always donning the characters of popular and sometimes obscure media. I've seen everything from Spider-Gwen to Jack Sparrow to Doc Brown. The staff looks and acts like their character, making for a very strange but entertaining experience. One of the cool features of this restaurant is that everyone is given an autograph book and they can ask the staff to sign it for them. It just adds to the experience. Now, my story starts on my girlfriend at the time's birthday. This restaurant was her current favorite place and that's where she wanted to eat. I know what you're thinking. It's a restaurant where everyone is in costume. How could someone confuse you for staff? The answer? I'm a punk. We're talking the whole shebang. Green hair, spike and patch covered jacket, ripped up jeans, combat boots and piercings. I look as edgy as a 14-year-old who discovered scene music and I love it. This current day I was wearing my favorite pair of bright red ripped up skinny jeans, combat boots and my dark grey battle jacket. I was accompanying my partner to the salad bar when I heard a little voice from behind me say, "Mommy, who is that?" To which the mother replied, "I don't know, you should go and ask him." Needless to say, there was a small tug on my battle jacket and a little girl holding an autograph book looking up at me. In a sheepish voice, she asked what character I was and if I'd sign her book. So I did what every slightly narcissistic punk rocker would do. I knelt down, took her pen, signed her book, and told her I was a character from the future that nobody knew yet, and one day she'd find out. The child smiled and ran up to her mother with the book, and when my girlfriend handed me my plate of salad, I could see it sink into the mother's eyes what had just occurred. I could see the shock in her eyes, and I quietly mouthed, "It's okay," and smiled at her. I enjoyed the rest of my night getting absolutely roasted by my girlfriend and her friends, but I felt pretty dang cool. And so you should, my friend. That was such a nice thing to do, and it fits this subreddit, IDon'tWorkHereLady. He really didn't, and I sort of want to see more stories like this. It's a good break from all the crazy people that are constantly on here. Karen is shut down by my uniform. It was hot last week, 33 degrees Celsius or 91 Fahrenheit, but felt /42/108. I had some birthday party items to pick up for a work-related function. I was in my summer uniform, shirt, no jacket, and I went to Walmart because they've got a decent party section and a fantastic AC. I found my way to the right section and chatted briefly with a sales associate. I started gathering the supplies I needed and putting them in my cart. I pulled one item and that caused a cascade of everything else behind it to fly onto the floor. My mother always taught me that if you make a mess, clean it up. So I squat down and start putting the stuff I spilled back on the shelf. And this is where we know the trouble starts, because apparently Karens don't understand the idea of just being a nice person. Then, from over my right shoulder, I hear, "Ahem, ahem." I kept putting the stock back. Shame on me for not responding. I hear a voice that's somewhere between the caw of a crow and the rasp of a 30-year-old 2-pack-a-day smoking habit. "I'm talking to you. Stop stocking the shelves and tell me where the art supplies are." I turned my head, and there before me was a vision standing. 40-ish with an asymmetrical haircut, laden with gold-coloured jewellery. All coloured because there were green marks around her neck, in a pink sports bra and short shorts made of this amazingly strong synthetic knit fabric. She obviously firmly believed one size does indeed fit all, but missed the part about it shouldn't. I said to this woman, one of God's own very special creations, "I'm sorry, I'm Canadian, but I don't..." "You're a manager, tell me where the F art supplies are." I rephrased, "I don't work here, can't help you." She wanted to talk to my boss and threatened to call corporate to let them know their managers are lying about working there to avoid helping customers. Then she launched into a string of invective worthy of a longshoreman, so I stood up and turned to face her. She was struck dumb. Her mouth was moving, but no sound was coming out. And she had gone pale under her shoe leather tan. Now, to be fair, I was wearing a light blue shirt and dark grey dress pants. But it's my uniform that made the difference. I have a white-collar type of job. I'm the chaplain at a medium security prison, the chaplain for a group of World War II veterans, and the chaplain for a group of Afghan war veterans being treated for post-traumatic stress syndrome. This last group is the one I was shopping for. You know you've been hanging around military veterans when cursing doesn't even faze you anymore. So there I was, in my light blue shirt with my clerical collar. I asked her, "Do you kiss your children with that potty mouth?" Then I told her that corporate doesn't have a phone, but if she wanted to talk to my boss, she could do so directly on Sunday at the church just a few blocks away from Walmart. By this time, her vocal cords had recovered, but the only sound coming out was a cross between a squeaky door hinge and a chicken that just laid an egg. I turned and pushed my cart down the aisle towards the checkout. The sales associate I spoke with earlier was just around the corner. Apparently, he came back to the aisle to see what the screeching was about and had seen the ending. He was doubled over with silent laughter, holding his sides. All he could do was mouth, "Thank you." And I was off, a man on a mission. Yes, I hope you saw from the pictures that this is definitely not a manager of Walmart. Especially, this one. Imagine going shopping in Walmart like that. You would definitely not get mistaken for one of the employees. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was r/IDon'tWorkHereLady. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos 3 times a week. Videos come up every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so stick around for tons more content. Also, if you have your own stories, make sure to leave them down below. I would absolutely love to hear them. But for now, that's it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.